Hey there, super friends, Jonathan Levy here, and stick around, because in this video, I'm going to talk about why you sleep like crap. Hey there, super friends, Jonathan Levy here, and I guess I won't whisper because no one's actually sleeping behind me. But in this video, I want to talk about one of the most important things that you can possibly do to improve your health, fitness, mentality, outlook, emotional resilience, and everything else. Of course, I am talking about sleep, and in this specific video, I want to talk about 7 or 8 of the reasons why you probably sleep like crap. Look, modern humans are completely out of touch with the evolutionary blueprint of the way our bodies were meant to be used and the way that they're meant to experience life. We all know that. I mean, there's nothing natural about smartphones or electronic lights or any of the other things that are damaging your sleep. But that doesn't mean that you have to be subjected to endlessly feeling tired, exhausted, grumpy, and generally out of energy all the time. The fact of the matter is, with a few simple adjustments and tweaks, you can actually dramatically improve the way you sleep, even if you've always been a poor sleeper or never been a morning person. How do I know? Well, over the last 7 years, I've interviewed about 250 plus of the world's top superhumans, many of them top sleep experts, and I've tried this stuff myself. I've tried each and every one of the techniques I'm going to share with you in this video, and I've tested it out and seen which ones work and which ones don't. Now, some of these techniques are going to surprise you. Some of them you're probably going to have some resistance to, and you're going to be like, Jonathan, I've heard it all before. That's not my problem. But I want you to really ask yourself, how many of these things are you actually consistently sticking to and consistently applying, and how many of them are you just telling yourself that you're applying? Now, the first one on my list is probably not the one that you would think would be first on my list, but it's actually using your bed for things other than sleep or sex. Look, I know, I love to read in bed as well, and reading is probably not the worst habit to have before bed, but the fact of the matter is, if you're doing all kinds of other stuff in your bed, you're sending completely mixed signals to your brain and your body so that it doesn't understand that when you get into bed, it's time to fall asleep. I'm talking about playing with your phone in bed. I'm talking about answering those last few work emails in bed. And I'm talking about that TV that you have in the bedroom. If every time you get into bed, you're doing something different that's not sleep, well, how is your body supposed to get into that ritual of understanding that sleep happens immediately when you go into bed, or that getting into bed means that it's time to go to sleep? Now, you want to condition your brain and your body to understand in the same way that when you sit down to your desk at work, it means it's time to work. So if you want to improve your sleep, you want to fall asleep faster, one of the first and most important things you need to do is reserve your bed for sleep and sex and the occasional little bit of bedtime reading. Now, that takes me beautifully into the next one, which is probably the one you're all expecting. I'm talking, of course, about blue light. Now, in the last few years, we've seen a lot of device manufacturers implement features that actually minimize the amount of blue light that you are exposed to at night, shifting your color of your screen to a more yellow hue and taking out those harmful blues. If you haven't heard, if you've been living under a rock, we know that blue light causes our brains to not emit melatonin. In other words, it stops us from secreting the hormones that tell our bodies we're tired and that it's ready to go to bed. Now, a lot of us will probably use that screen shift feature on our devices, but let me ask you, what other blue light are you being exposed to in the evening that is preventing you from sleeping? Of course, we already talked a little bit about having that TV in the bedroom and how much harm that is doing for you, but what about the lights in your house? Yes, even if they are a soft white color, which, let's face it, a lot of people have those harsh fluorescent lights in their kitchen, those lights are causing you a lot of blue light exposure. Now, there's a few things you can do. In my home, I've shifted out all the lights to Philips Hue bulbs, and I change the color of them depending on the time, and I even reduce the intensity and fade out the light to simulate a sunset just a few hours later. Another thing you can do is pick up a pair of blue blocker glasses. These are from True Dark, but we also have, I'll put a link in the comments, we have a great deal with blue blocks that you can pick up a pair of those. These are not the sexiest thing in the world, but the fact of the matter is, inevitably, when I talk to someone and they say, oh, I just can't sleep at night, I have such difficulty sleeping, I put a pair of these on them, and after a few nights, they're telling me they're falling asleep within minutes. It really does work. We do know that blue light really harms your sleep, and I encourage each and every one of you to check out a podcast episode I did with Andy Mann, where he actually goes into the science of why these work and why you should probably be wearing them anytime after sunset. All right, item number 3 on our list is poor nutrition. And I know you know that nutrition is important, but did you know that there are certain elements of nutrition that are particularly important for sleep? For example, a significant portion of the population is magnesium deficient, and that is because our topsoil is so depleted through agriculture and modern industrial agriculture. Magnesium is one of those things that's used in 1,200 different processes in the body, many of them included in sleep. So oftentimes, if you are magnesium deficient, it's going to make you tense, make your muscles tense, give you restlessness, and prevent you from sleeping. The best way to prevent this is obviously eating a healthy diet full of fruits and vegetables. Eat the rainbow, eat lots of leafy greens, but if you need to, it may be worthwhile supplementing with something like a magnesium glycinate or even magnesium citrate if you can't get your hands on glycinate. The nutrition discussion is a nice segue into hydration. Now, I know this is one that really confuses people. It throws people off because you think, well, if I drink a lot of water, I'm not gonna be able to sleep well because I'm gonna have to get up all night and pee. And yes, that is true. But the fact of the matter is, if you already wait until the evening to do your hydration, it's too late. What you want to do is keep your body hydrated throughout the day so that you don't have to chug a liter of water before you go to bed to catch up on your hydration. Now, I'm as guilty of this as anyone, but I have found on days that I do hydrate well, it allows my body to go into rest and do all those important metabolic processes much better. Why is this? Because our bodies use a ton of water when we sleep, not just for aspiration. We're constantly exhaling a ton of water, but also for all the many processes that our brain, body, muscles, nervous system, everything is doing. Our digestion, every single one of the processes in our bodies require water because water is 80% of the composition of our bodies. Therefore, if you are not properly hydrated, you are not going to be able to sleep as well, and you're not going to be able to perform those processes. Now, you know who you are. You wake up in the morning and your pee is so yellow and so almost brown. Well, that means that your body is dying for water to conduct those processes throughout your sleep. So make sure that you're hydrating. Don't put your hydration off all the way to the end of the day, and instead drink consistently throughout the day so that you arrive in bed well hydrated. All right, up next, let's talk about exercise, okay? Another one of those topics you know you should be doing, but the fact of the matter is, if you are not exerting your body enough throughout the day, well, it doesn't have any reason to be tired, does it? What you want to do is try and get your heart rate up to as much as 75% of your maximum heart rate based on your age for as much as 30 minutes a day. Now, I know most of us don't have time to do that. We all have these busy lives, but just choosing to walk instead of take the bus, just choosing to do a 5-minute HIIT workout instead of that extra scroll through Instagram. There are ways to get in enough exercise, and I think you will find, makes sense, right, that the more you exert yourself, the more tired you're going to be when you get into bed, and it's going to create this virtuous cycle of feeling rested and then exercising more the next day. So make sure that you're getting in enough physical activity, and remember, as my dear friend and colleague Dimitris Gokas says, the okay thing that you do is so much better than the perfect thing that you don't do. So if you don't have time to do that 1-hour workout, you can't go to spinning class right now because of the pandemic or whatever reason it might be, it's okay to do a 5-minute walk instead, but do something. All right, up next, I want to talk about sleep schedules, okay? Now, there is this misconception where people say, yeah, you know, I don't get to bed until 1, but I sleep until 10. So I'm getting 9 hours. Well, here's the sad truth, my friends. Sleep that you get before midnight is not the same quality as sleep that you get at 10 in the morning. Your body is evolved to work in synchronicity and in turn with the planet and the sun and the gravity and all of it. I'm not a doctor and I'm not a sleep specialist, but I do know that sleep before the hours of midnight or 1 a.m. is significantly better in quality. I also know that sticking to a consistent sleep schedule is very, very important. If you go to bed one night at 1 a.m. and another night at 10 p.m., or even just midnight, your body has no idea what's going on. It's having a hard time enforcing a strict 24-hour circadian rhythm or sleep cycle. What you want to do is try to get to bed early. Even if you are not a morning person, try to get to bed early, because those precious hours from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. are going to be significantly higher quality. And by the way, one of the worst things you can do for your sleep is be up at 2 to 3 in the morning, because it's neither here nor there. It's not early morning yet, and it's not late at night anymore. So what you really, really want to do, and I know you don't want to hear this, is you really want to enforce a sleep schedule. Be consistent with your sleep schedule, even on weekends. You can shift it 30 minutes here or there based on things that come up in life. But the best possible thing you can do is have a consistent sleep schedule and try to sleep early. I used to think that I was a night owl as well, that I wasn't a morning person. It turns out that after a few weeks of sticking to a strict schedule and working out in the morning instead of in the evening, it made a world of difference. And that, by the way, is another really important segue into why you sleep like crap. And that is bedtime routines and evening routines, okay? A lot of people get into bed. We already talked about doing things in your bed that maybe keep you awake, but what about things that fail to bring you down and fail to calm you down? I'm talking, of course, about having specific rituals before bed that signal to you that it is time to go to sleep. Whether that means brushing your teeth, taking a cold shower to lower your core temperature, taking a hot shower. It actually doesn't matter which kind you take. Either way is going to help you create that ritual, whether it's reading before bed. Just like we don't want to be doing things in bed that are going to signal to us that it's not bedtime, we want to start doing things a couple hours before bed that signal to us that it is time to wind down. So shutting down the computer at 8 p.m. at the latest, having dinner earlier so that you're not fed and trying to digest while you sleep. And of course, having that wind down ritual of maybe an evening shower, getting into bed, reading for 10 or 20 minutes, turning down the lights, putting on some calming music. All of these things become cues, and those cues turn the habits into action. All right, friends, we've just about come to the end of our list of reasons why you probably sleep like crap, and I want to share one more, and it's a big one. It is your sleep environment. Now, I'll probably do another video on this some other time, but I do want to say that your sleep environment is incredibly important to how you sleep. You want to sleep in a dark, cold, and quiet environment. And when I say dark, I'm talking about even having the little LEDs to all the little clocks and all those tiny little lights. You want to have those completely blocked off. You should have no light in your sleep environment and sleep as cold as 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That is incredibly cold. I don't sleep that cold, but you will find that the colder you keep the room you sleep in, the better you will do. Now, some of you might think, Jonathan, I sleep like a log. Nothing can wake me. I'm totally a deep sleeper. But the fact of the matter is even if you don't register it, noise and light are actually scientifically proven to jostle you out of the deeper states of sleep. And that's going to leave you feeling, no matter how many hours you technically slept, it's going to leave you feeling groggy and crappy. So that's my list of reasons why you probably sleep like crap. I'd love to hear in the comments below, which one of these are you actually guilty of? Which one of them have you been meaning to try? And which ones will you actually implement and try in the next few nights? I really hope that this video provides value to you. And if it does, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, or whatever else, depending on where you're watching this video. Really appreciate all of you, appreciate you watching and supporting, and I look forward to reading your comments. Have a great night's sleep. Take care, everyone.